This YouTube channel is specifically designed to address some of the concerns that I have about student performance. Specifically, throughout the years of teaching in Oxford, Cambridge, MIT, Imperial, and various other prestigious universities, I have spotted a trend of skill gap within the students, things that we should teach them at the very beginning, at the start of the university course, but we don't. And they are not considered as part of the university education. Now, even towards the end of their courses, most of the students, when they're writing their dissertations, you can still see that they have a lack in some technical skill which if they learned at the beginning, their studies would have been much, much, much easier and they would have had much better grades. So the purpose of this channel is to help students just go through these videos and learn those skills that they're going to make their life much easier. So they're going to be able to write better assignments, they're going to be able to get better grades, better scores, and their overall university education is going to be more enjoyable. The concerns that I have in terms of student performance, and hence the reason why I'm recording this channel, it's not unique to Oxford or Cambridge or MIT. They're just generally, I have noticed the same skill gap across the students in the UK, in the US, and some of the students that I have come from Japan, Germany, from everywhere. What are those skills that I'm specifically talking about? I'm gonna list them all here in this Word document. So hopefully this is gonna be a quick guide for you on what to expect to find in the YouTube channel. Before I go into that, a few words about myself. I work for the University of Oxford. If you type my name in Google, you're gonna find loads of resources about me, my books, my research papers. The easiest way to find more about me is the University of Oxford webpage, where my entire bibliography is listed, including the research interests, the awards that I have received, and a few selected publications. There's also a news and event webpage managed by the University of Oxford, and that's more updated more frequently, so you would be able to find out things that I'm doing right now as opposed to things that I was doing 10 years ago. And finally, if you want to read some of my work, which is completely free, University of Oxford has paid the open access fees. So this is, you just need to click on the link and read if you're willing to read this kind of work. So there's no actual commercial interest related to this. If you click on by year, you're going to be able to find some of the more up-to-date research that I'm doing. Now, enough about me. Let's go back to the reason why I'm recording this channel. Now, I have been in teaching in university settings for a good part of 15 to 20 years now. And I have detected that in every cohort of students that I have, towards the end, when they're writing their dissertation, they're lacking some digital skills in digital methods and digital techniques. What specifically is things like learning data-driven research methods. So how do they apply digital tools for data collection, analysis, and visualization? This is a big thing that many students, they just don't have a grasp over it. Second thing that many students lack in their assessments and the assignments that they write is how do they access secondary data sources? How do they find the secondary data sources? Even at the very final stages of most postgraduate students, master students, I do get asked questions on how do I find secondary data? How do I find the qualitative data, or how do I find quantitative data sources? And then obviously the next question that follows is how do I analyze that data? So for qualitative methods in these videos that I'm going to be recording, I'm going to be talking about in vivo. And in terms of quantitative methods, I'm going to be talking about RStudio, ggplot2, various other techniques, Python. In terms of practical experience with reference management, which is this one here, I believe it's very important that you get your references right when you're writing academic work, because it's one of the reasons why most students they get lower mark because their references are not correct. And it's possibly one of the easiest and the quickest way how any student can improve their mark. Now, I have already recorded. This is the channel that I have created yesterday, and it only has one video. And that video here is about using the reference management software. It's around 43 minutes. So in less than 50 minutes, you're going to be able to learn that skill. You're going to be able to apply the software into your Microsoft Word document with a plugin. And just with one click from your Chrome browser, you will be able to import the references into your Word document, and it would populate the bibliography automatically for you. It's unfortunate that I see students in their final days in the university that they find out about this specific easy trick how to populate references. And most of my students when I teach these kind of courses, although they're not part of the curriculum, but sometimes I try to explain how this operates during the unofficial coffee breaks. Most of the students, they say that we wished that we knew this before when we started the course, because our assignments would have been really easy. Now, since the University of Oxford doesn't really have a platform where I could upload this kind of knowledge, I decided that I'm going to create a YouTube channel, and there you are. That is the first video that you would need to watch to learn how to improve your marks and your grades. Just by using a reference management software, those things would naturally improve your grades, because you're going to have structure that you can change within a click of a button. So if you want to change from Harvard to Chicago style, usually the manual way to do it, it's very tedious, and it will give you a nervous breakdown. But with that software, with one click of a button, and it's again free software, open access. So I'm using Mendeley, which does not has any licensing fees associated with it. Now, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel and like the videos. You might be the very first subscriber, so the channel doesn't have any subscribers as of yet. So moving on from the reference management, other things that I'm going to be discussing in this channel are how to use the Web of Science core collection and Scopus for advanced literature review and research insights. Why is that important? Because most of the students that I supervise, they are still struggling to distinguish between what is a journal paper, what is literature, and what is a news article. A very simple explanation to that is that a journal article is being peer reviewed by an editor and two independent academics, which means that when you submit that piece of work to a journal to be published, editor will send it to two independent academics that could be based anywhere in the world, and they don't know each other. Both of those, they have to agree that your journal is credible and that your insights and that your data, your findings are reproducible. If they don't agree on that, obviously the journal is going to get rejected. That is the difference between a journal article and a news article, where you just simply submit your work to various different platforms online, like the YouTube. I'm submitting this video, nobody's editing, nobody's reviewing. So you really need to use credible sources when you're writing your work, because most of the information that we get today does not come from Web of Science or Scopus. It comes from places like YouTube. What does it mean to use Web of Science? So this is the Web of Science webpage, and again, I'm going to record a full video on how to use the Web of Science platform. But just to show you a quick demo, so on the topics, so for example, I'm going to show you how to do it, but let me show you first how does it look. So when you first click on the link, you're going to get all these various different fields, and that means that the Web of Science core collection is related to various different topics. For example, here we have a section on healthcare. If you scroll down further below, you're going to find various different sections on completely different topics. So this one here is on BioWorld Science. So anyways, this is how it's going to look at the beginning. So it's going to be a little bit confusing because you have to click here to log in, and then log in to the scientific and academic research, and you need to log into the Web of Science core collection. Once you've done that, you're going to reach this web page. And in this web page, you can search articles that they are listed on the Web of Science. What does it mean to be listed on the Web of Science? It means that it's coming from a little bit more credible source than Google Scholar. And here, for example, my main topic of research is AI security, and I haven't really done this. So you see here, you're going to get loads of resources on AI security, and you can filter them. You can filter them by year. You can filter them by types of articles. Oh, by the way, this is my research paper. So that one, it's here. And you would be able to find the same one on Google Scholar. If we go by year, it's going to be somewhere here. Oh, there it is. So that is the on Google Scholar, and this is here on the Web of Science, the fifth best article on the Web of Science. So I discovered something new about my work now. So if you type AI security, the fifth article would be my work. I'm not going to go down just to brag about how good I am. That's not the whole purpose of the video. But there are 6,522 results on this specific topic. Now, if you type AI security on Google, there's going to be a lot more than 6,500 results, simply because most of the results, they won't be from accredited journal papers. You need to use this kind of databases because with one click of a button, you can export a large number of citations. Then you can analyze them with bibliometric software. Other sources that you could get that kind of information is Scopus. So this is the Scopus webpage where you would be able to obtain very much the same information, but they're a little bit more expanded. So on Scopus, you have more data sources, and the final place how you can access data is on the Google Scholar. So on Google Scholar, you're going to have the most articles that they're available. Uh, let's go back to the content. So what else would I be recording in these sessions? I'm going to be explaining to you how to use bibliometric software like BiblioShiny and Voz Viewer. And those are extremely easy techniques uh, to analyze bibliometric trends, citations, and academic impact. So you will be able to create beautiful images and diagrams. This is the bibliometric software. And this is the Voz viewer. And as you can see, I'm going to show you in these video tutorials how to use those tools. Again, there are things that you can download for free. So here's the button where you can download the Voz viewer for free. BiblioShiny is also for free, and it's used with RStudio mostly. So this is RStudio, where again, installation is completely free. All of the tools that I'm going to be showing you how to use in these videos are open access, open source. You don't need to have a license. And again, this is not connected to University of Oxford or any specific university. You can be a student in the University of North Carolina, and you're still going to have completely the same access to the tools that I'm going to be explaining. In terms of context, because I work in computer science and most people will just look at my profile and artificial intelligence and this kind of post-quantum cryptography, and they're going to freak out and they're going to say, well, this is way too technical for us. For the purpose of these video recordings, I'm going to be using a little bit more generic sources. So I'm going to be going to places like the Oxford Department of Continuing Education, where they are teaching various different topics. And so it's extremely interesting department because you would be able to relate the tools that I'm going to be teaching to creative writing, diplomatic studies, evidence-based healthcare, archaeology, English and local history, and various different topics. Again, the purpose of these videos is not to show you some computer sciencey geeky thing. The purpose of this channel is to teach students the basic skills that they need in order to perform better in their courses, regardless if their course is on healthcare or if their university course is on media studies or it's in computer science. We do get loads of pushbacks from people from computer science because they say that they don't have to use references. Actually, the academic marking is identical. References are required in all of the different types of subjects that we study. And bibliometric approaches are also required for you to explain the type of data that you can find in existing literature. With one click of a button, you can export a file, analyze it with RStudio, and get a beautiful diagram that is going to explain how many papers are published in which category that you are researching. And those would be diagrams that you have created yourself. So you would be quite free to upload them into your essays and present them as original contribution of work. And some of the tools that I'm going to be discussing, for example, I'm going to be talking about ArcGIS story maps. Those are extremely relevant to archaeological history and archaeology. So they're not only relevant to computer science, but they're extremely relevant to various other fields. And let me show you how that looks. Where is Argis? So this is Argis, and where you can sign in and start using those maps. In terms of healthcare and evidence-based healthcare, I'm going to be introducing techniques for mining and sentiment analysis, Python, and applications in large text databases. But also, I'm going to be asking questions on what kind of tools and databases you have used in your research and what is interesting, just to get the feel from the audience and maybe personalize and tailor the content of the channel more specifically towards the type of courses that university students are interested in. I have already discussed and I showed you how Web of Science and Scopus operates. Those are the two largest databases for literature review. And in the sessions, I'm going to be giving you live demonstrations on how to import those references directly from the Web of Science and into bibliometric software and analyze them. Then I'm going to be showing you hands-on review and bibliometrical analysis. So the first video, again, in the introduction to Mendeley, it's already being recorded and it's already being uploaded in the channel here. So that is the first video on how to use Mendeley for creating and sharing libraries with groups of students. Um, what else we're going to be talking in this YouTube channel? Well, we're going to be talking about some of the ethical concerns that you should consider when you're writing research papers, just to avoid from getting a lower mark because you didn't include ethical considerations. I'm going to give you a few case studies of how you would be able to perform analysis of the data citations and the research transparency of the data that you're using. But one of the easiest examples that I can show you here is the FAIR principles, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And what do we mean by that? This is the FAIR principles webpage. And usually the data that we use needs to be findable, so other people should be able to find it and see if it exists. It needs to be accessible, so when you're writing your research work, you shouldn't be using data that nobody else can access, only you. Data needs to be accessible. And I'm going to show you databases, various different databases, how you can access data and analyze it extremely easy with a few clicks of a button. The data needs to be interoperable. That's some of the principles of the FAIR methodology. So if somebody wanted to replicate your results for a different with a different tool, that should be interoperable, and the data should be really reusable. There's a difference between private data, public data, and open access data, where open access data is public. You can find it in public, but you can also reuse it for various different purposes. So that is some of the criteria that we're going to be discussing about how to write good pieces of research, good essays, good reports. How do you follow those principles and how do you make it clear to the examiner that you have followed the FAIR principles? Most of the students, then going back to the beginning of this video, are struggling to find secondary data and struggling to find quantitative and qualitative methods to analyze it. That's why I'm going to be showing you how to do that. So in conclusion, That's what the channel is about. It's about helping students overcome some of the most difficult problems that they have. And throughout my 15 or 20 years in education, I do consistently find the same struggles that students have, the same problems that they're facing. And it's unfortunate that some students go until the end of their course, they finish their courses, and they still don't know how to apply appropriate data analytical techniques, how to run reference manager, how to analyze data. And unfortunately, those techniques, we don't teach them in a university settings. And we should. This should be the very basic, the very first 101 course on how to use those techniques in order to produce better essays. But unfortunately, we don't. So that is the purpose of this video channel. I'm going to be showing you specific techniques of how to run data analysis and how to get the results. And again, the techniques that I'm going to be explaining would be applicable to a variety of different courses. They're not going to be applicable to a single course or a single subject. So the whole idea is to have a link between the courses that we teach in university setting and the topic of information engineering, which is my main topic of research. My PhD is in information engineering, and I believe that the information planning, information strategy, and data analysis can help you write much better essays, much better reports, and much better dissertation. And you should probably learn how to do those from the very beginning of your course and not wait until the very end, because at that stage you might realize that a very simple technique like spending 1 hour on how to learn the reference management software. That video is basically 1 hour and it provides you with all the information that you require. And if you spend 1 hour learning that, it might actually improve your grades significantly. But that's the channel. If you like this kind of content, I'm going to use also Mentimeter for obtaining a feel of how people who watch this channel are feeling about the content. I'm going to be applying quizzes. Kahoot quizzes are usually very useful for improved education, and hopefully it's going to be very interactive content. If you're interested in this kind of thing, please subscribe, and I hope you're gonna stay for the videos.